I will start the case study too. Margaret is 32 years old and she had come to the counseling through her primary doctor. She described herself as sensitive and emotional. Everything started a year ago when Margaret went for shopping. She began to feel anxious, nervous, and panicky. It went away after a few minutes, so she carried on doing the shopping. However, 2 weeks later, the same thing happened and was worse than the first one. She felt her heart beating fast. Also, she felt like she's going to pass out. Ever since that day, it has been a real effort for her to go out of her house. Sometimes, without knowing the reason, she burst into tears. The most recent incident was a week ago when Margaret out for a weekly shopping. This time, she felt anxious even before she went out. When she arrived at the shop, she felt breathless and nauseous. She thought it was embarrassing and everybody was looking at her. She felt like she was stupid. Margaret had pain in her chest and thought it was the heart attack, but soon after she remembered reading about a panic attack. She told herself, "This is panic." It helped her for 10 seconds, then she panicked again. However, after 10 minutes, she could come back to the shop and finish the shopping. For she told herself that no one is actually looking at her, and they are all busy getting on with their own stuff. And it was her first time to tackle the problem. Usually, when she felt anxious before going out, she just stayed in. In Margaret's case, she is anxious about inability to flee anxiety-provoking situations. Being in public places such as stores and malls triggers anxiety, which results in significant impairment. Margaret avoids these situations because of thoughts that escape might be difficult or help might not be available in the event of developing panic-like symptoms or other embarrassing symptoms. As Margaret often stays in when she feels anxious before going out to avoid the situation that gives her anxiety, she doesn't challenge herself to break the pattern. This is a small adaptive coping strategy, which won't help her to be free from a situation. A year ago, when the problem first started, Margaret went for a trip in India. She was shopping for her family by herself. When she was done selecting gifts for her family, she realized her purse was gone. Her cell phone was in her purse, and she didn't know how to speak Hindi to ask others for help. When she started to feel anxious and panicky, she saw one of her friends walking by, so she called her and Margaret became stable a few minutes later. When Margaret was 5, she once lost her mother in the shopping center. She cried in fear and sadness that she might not be able to see her mom ever again. But since she couldn't remember her mother's number, people could not contact her mom. There was nothing she could do. She just had to stand and wait for her mom to look for her. She felt helpless and felt like she won't be able to escape the situation. By the time when her mother found her, Margaret was almost fainting after 20 minutes of bailing. Even though she doesn't clearly remember the event, that 20 minutes remained a traumatic event to Margaret. When she faced a similar situation a year ago in India, her emotions were provoked, the same emotion she felt when she was 5 years old. With symptoms, triggers, and maintenance processes, it is most likely that Margaret can be diagnosed as agoraphobia disorder. And homework assignment intervention that may be helpful for Margaret includes finding out more about her condition, practicing self-help technique to help relieve symptoms, keeping a thought record for a week, going to the supermarket or mall where the last occurrence had happened each day, focusing on breathing and positive self-talk whenever she feels anxious, and reading the self-help guide recommended by the therapist. Lastly, prognosis for Margaret is positive. She's willing and motivated to carry out tasks and homework. Also, she already broke herself to pattern of avoidance and felt proud of herself, which indicates that she has the sufficient ability to overcome agoraphobia disorder.